So, I already added lighting and do the render for my illustration, but I'm not satisfied enough. It looks quite boring. I want to make it more dynamic. Should I add some visual effect? Oh, hello there! In this subsection, we will learn about creating visual effects to 2D illustrations. Some of you may already be able to imagine what visual effects look like. Visual effects consist of many examples. All the effects you add, no matter what form they take, can be called visual effects. We will define what is visual effect and its function. We will learn about some examples of visual effects too. After watching this video, we hope that you will understand the importance of adding a visual effect and be able to apply it. To start this subsection, let's learn the basic definition of visual effects first. Visual effects are additional elements used to set the mood, add details, or create a dynamic impression. Visual effects can enhance aesthetic appeal and are one of the elements that help convey the story or mood of an illustration. Visual effects are not just decorative elements, but also elements that can bring illustrations to life and make them more dynamic and less boring. In addition, in the context of the game, of course, visual effects are very important in building impressions that enhance the playing experience. Let's take an example of the attack effects in the following Genshin Impact game. Notice how the elements of sparks and smoke help build the visual effects in the game. Just imagine, what would a game with a similar theme be like if every attack or movement of the character was not supported by visual effects? Of course, it would be very flat and boring. Well, this is where visual effects play an important role in games and illustrations. Here are some examples of visual effects that you can add to your illustrations or games. First, glow. Giving glowing effect to objects or light sources such as the sun, sky, lamps, or magical effects. In creating illustrations, you can use the airbrush tool and layer blending mode, overlay, screen, or color burn to add this effect. Second, blur or low opacity effect. In general, this effect is used to convey the depth of an illustration. For example, distant object is given a blur or low opacity effect so that the focus is on the main object. Pay attention to the bottom of the character. Looks blurry and dark, right? This is one example to make an object more focused. Third, particles. Elements such as dust, sparks, water splashes, or the random dots that decorate the illustration. This effect is often used in games with a fighting theme. Every time there is an attack movement, it is followed by supporting particles around the attack to make the playing experience more memorable. Fourth, color hue or tone curve. Tone curve is a tool that is available in every illustration software. This tool is useful for changing the color of the selected layer instantly. For example, if you want to make the color in a certain layer darker, brighter, or increase the saturation to create a dramatic impression, then you can play and experiment with this tool. Play until you are satisfied with the results. Fifth, sharp highlight. This effect is useful for emphasizing the part of the object that is exposed to light. This effect can make the illustration more dramatic and highlight the object. 6. Blur or smoke effect on the background. This effect functions to make the audience focus on the highlighted object. This effect only applies if there is a background in the illustration you create. The examples of visual effects that have been explained above are just a few that can be applied. If you have or want to add your own outside the examples that have been mentioned, of course, it is allowed because there is no limit to adding visual effects. The visual effects above are only based on those are easy to see and often encountered. Look at the following illustration of the Silver Wolf character of the Honkai Star Rail game and analyze it. This illustration used several visual effects that have been mentioned above. Among the others, particles that can be easily found in the background area, glow effects in the background area, and smoke effects in the background area to highlight the Silver Wolf character. For the environment, look at the following illustration example in the Honkai Star Rail game. It can be clearly seen that the following illustration uses a lot of particles and sharp highlights at the end of the character, making the illustration have a high fantasy impression. Visual effects create to enhance the illustration, not to be the main element that dominates the image. Although, effects like those mentioned above can make an illustration more interesting. Too many effects can actually blur the main focus of the main object. To avoid this, use effects to support the composition and atmosphere, not as pointless decorations, and make sure the main elements remain easily recognizable and are not covered by excessive effects. In addition, one of the best ways to master visual effects is to analyze illustrations from your favorite artists. Pay attention to how they use light, shadow, or special effects to create a certain mood. In addition, practice is key to understanding how effects work and how to use them well. Don't be afraid to experiment. The more you try, the more you will understand what styles and techniques work best for your illustration. So, we already finished all the subsections in the subsection 5. It means that you already learned about lighting, rendering, and visual effects. Try to enhance your own illustration with all of what you already learned. That's it, and I'll see you another time.